Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your week ahead general tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note: my readings are for everybody. So the weekly general is exactly that. It's the general energies, trends, and themes that we're all going to be working on or through over the course of the week. And obviously, we'll start with the intuitive message. But before we do get into that, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help everybody on their paths to their highest vibrational good. So let's have a look at what comes up for the before we get into that though, actually, the message of the week this week was literally to expand your reach. Whatever it is that you are trying to do, whatever it is that you're trying to work on or through or get off the ground, especially if you're trying to create something or to start something, the message was really clear. What I saw was a bird spreading its wings, like, you know, like before they get ready to fly or they, you know, about to jump off something. There's that whole moment where they spread their wings. And the message that I got from this in the words was expand your reach. Like whatever you're doing, you need to reach further. Whatever you're doing, you need to reach broader or bigger. This is, you know, whether this is reaching more people, whether it is doing more research, whether it's gaining more information or insight into whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to expand your reach, expand your knowledge base as well. Like whatever you're trying to do at this moment in time, you have to take it bigger and further than you've ever taken it before. So this is about really trying to do whatever you can to expand your reach. So our jumping destiny card this week that flew right out is the Judgment card. So this for me represents the final call, right? Yes, it can represent blasts from the past and stuff, but this week specifically, this is telling us that there is a big line being drawn underneath something. So whether this is a line in the sand, whether it's the underline of a title or a beginning or even an ending that comes up, in some way, shape or form, this is going to be a week of profound change for all of us. There's something here that is culminating, that is moving in a very almost like in a very finite direction, right? So this is going to be a week where in some way, shape or form, a big line is drawn, and you know, you're going to have to expand your reach in order to, well, not even maybe accept it, but in order to assimilate the experience. That's the other thing with the Judgment card. Very often it brings things or people back from the past so that we can fully assimilate the lesson that we'd learnt from them. So this could be a week of grand culminations, but it could also be a really powerful week of assimilating the experiences that you've had up until this point. All right, so let's have a look at the direction cards and see what comes up with this. All right, so we have the Devil card, right, with the Ace of Swords. This is really interesting, and the Queen of Swords. So in a lot of ways, so your direction cards, these represent how you best tap into this energy. And there is going to be I mean, I said this last week as well, but in some way, shape or form, and I feel like this is going to be more on the microcosmic level. So this is more of a personal reading, like for us, it's more of like a general personal reading as opposed to one for the wider world stage, although I have no doubts we'll be seeing that there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear of either a celebrity, maybe even possibly royalty as well, putting some new I don't want to say legislation because it doesn't feel like anything to do with law, but it's almost like there's some new information that's going to be put forward this week. And if I'm completely honest with you, it may be presented as truth, and I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that whatever truth is presented this week, it's only one aspect of the truth. There's more to come. So whatever pieces of the puzzle are revealed this week, just know that there is more information to come to light. Now, one way that we can look at this as well, the Queen of Swords coupled with the Ace of Swords, Swords, this is literally a truth revealed, right? And this is one that has been hard won. So whatever information comes up this week, it may be something that you really had to fight for. It may be knowledge or information that you really had to fight for. Expand your reach, right? So in another way, this is like expand your mind. So whatever information comes to you this week, just consider that you may need to look at this from a different or a bigger or even a broader perspective. You might need to zoom out of how you feel so that you can really take a look at the bigger sort of broader picture of what is actually going on, what the pieces of the puzzle that you are working on actually are. Another way that this could show up as well with the Ace of Swords coupled with the Devil card, this is the end of a bad or a challenging situation, but it's one that's had to be fought for, right? So whatever you've been working on, whatever challenges you've had, whatever issues you've had, the end is definitely in sight. The final line is being drawn, right? You're about to cross the threshold. Whatever experience you're having, this has been hard won. It's not been easy, but it does suggest that the end will be a completion that you are happy with. Now, ways that you can use this, well, how do you use the Queen of Swords? You buck up and you fight in tooth and nail for everything that you believe in. The Ace of Swords, stick to the facts, deal with the facts and nothing but. With the Devil card, try not to get obsessed. All right, so that's the way that we can utilize the energy. Now let's have a look at the Insight card. All right, let's see what's coming up, what's going on behind the scenes, what might we need to be aware of that is possibly coming up for us. The Justice card with the Seven of Wands, and the Tower card. I mean, all in all, I definitely think we're having better times than we have been. I'm going to maintain, though, this whole year is going to have big, grand reveals to it. In another way as well, I think we could be seeing either a surprise. There's two ways that this could play out. We could be seeing either a really surprise marriage that's happened really quickly, or we could see the breaking up of a marriage that we never expected to see come to an end. This could be, a celebrity breakup. It could be a couple's, like a high profile breakup, one that really sort of shocks everybody to say like, whoa, okay, you know what, I didn't expect to see that. That's on the wider world stage. On a personal sphere, this could literally be people that have been together for years and then all of a sudden they just announce, actually, you know what, we're over. That's one way that this could play out. Another way that this could play out on the wider world stage is that we could literally be seeing a dispute of some sort, but on an international sort of scale. Okay, so on a personal level, on that microcosmic level, how do we traverse this and what might we need to know? Well, the Justice card is asking you to look at your partnerships and commitments. It's asking you to get really serious about what you are willing to fight for, what it is that you are truly ready, willing and able to go to war for in many ways, shapes and forms. And then coupled with the Tower card, right? This could be a spontaneous challenge that arises for you. It may be a battle that comes up that you weren't even aware that you had to fight. It may even be what's the word? It could be, for some of you as well, you deciding to end a commitment. And this doesn't have to be about a relationship. This could be you saying, right, okay, I used to be committed to a certain type of education and now I'm no longer going down that path. For some of you, this could, and because it's the Tower card, this could be a sudden realization that actually, you know what, I've been doing this job or this work for 3 years and it just doesn't feel like it's right for me anymore. For a lot of people this week that decide to change their jobs, that decide to change their work, it may come as a shock to the people around you. So whatever you are doing in the work sphere, just consider that the pivot that you're about to make might feel totally natural to you, but if you get a lot of questions, it does appear to the outside person that the move that you're making is a little bit rash. All right, so that's not to say that it is. I don't agree or disagree either way. I'm just letting you know what you might come up against. Now, for those of you that are in situations with work colleagues, bosses, people in positions of power or authority, and you're having challenges with them, By challenging the status quo, or the no, not the status quo, by challenging the person in authority, or at least even the contract that you have with your institution, this week I feel like you're going to set a precedent, and I kind of feel like this is going to happen across the board as well. I think a lot of the things that come up this week are really going to make people ask some very big questions, and when that happens, that's when we get change, but it's never really comfortable or easy. All in all, it doesn't look like a bad week, it just looks like a bit of an intense week, all right? So it's going to be very filled with a lot of stuff. Now, remember as well, on the 12th or the 13th, I believe, we have that gorgeous new moon in Pisces. But remember, because it's Neptune in the mix as well, we might not necessarily have all of the facts, you know, and we could be very swept up in how we feel and the emotion of it all. So just be aware of that. Outside of that, I actually think it's going to be a good week. There's a lot of clarity that comes from this week, but only once the fog clears. Only once you really make a firm decision is that fog going to clear. Only once you really trust the power of your spiritual energy and direction. That's the Neptunian, or the higher octave of the Neptunian energy that comes in, right? And this, I mean, I talked about with Heather when we did the overview for the next sort of 5 years, basically. And one of the things that we talked about in that was really getting into this idea of building a very strong spiritual practice or spiritual understanding, and being in the spirit of spiritual discernment, so that when you step forward, no matter what happens, you are clear on what your directive and your goal actually is, so that you can't be swayed from it, all right? So that you don't allow anything that happens out there to pull the wool over your eyes, let's say. But all in all, this is going to be a very interesting week. Right? So anyway, with that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up, and I'll see you soon.